Today we'll be installing the Oracle Lighting off-road side mirror ditch lights for the 2021 to 2023 Ford F-150. Let's get started. So the tools we're going to be using today is a flathead screwdriver, a panel tool, a T15 Torx bit on an extension with a 3/8 ratchet, and a 10 mil socket on an extension, and a 1/4 inch drill bit. Alright, so first step, I'm going to take the mirror off of the door, and to do that I'm going to open the door up. Alright, so I'm going to pull this panel off using my panel tool. I'm going to create a gap of separation and just work the panel off. Alright, so once the panel's off, you'll find 1, 2 bolts, and then 1, 2 nuts, all 10 millimeter. Alright, lastly, I'm going to unlatch this plug and pull it off. So we're going to come around to the front side of the mirror and lift up. So you want to tilt up. This hooks inside of the square, so you want to tilt up and pull down and out. And your mirror's off. Alright, so now that we got the mirror off the truck, we're going to go ahead and start disassembling it. First step, we'll just take this foam pad off. Set it off to the side. Second step, we'll take this trim panel piece off. Comes right off. Third step will be to take the mirror off. Alright, so to get the mirror off, you want to angle it downwards, or upwards actually. This is the bottom of the mirror. And inside you'll see some clips holding everything on. And what you want to do is pull on the mirror and release those clips at the same time. So to complete the disassembly of this mirror, we're going to take these 1, 2, 3, 4 T15 Torx bits out. So now that we got these 4 Torx bits removed, we're just going to flip the mirror over, and it's going to go out and up, just like that. Alright, so our next step is to get this plug out. All you got to do is reach in there and pull on the wire. It's sealed to the wire itself. Pull that plug out, we're going to run our wire out of there. So now we'll take our side mirror cap, undo the wire, we'll fish it in this hole, and with this plug out, we'll reach our fingers in there and feel for it and pull it out. Just like that. Alright, so now using our 1/4 inch drill bit, we're going to just mark a hole and drill it right next to the wire, and that's where we're going to run our wire out of. Alright, so now that we got our hole drilled, we're just going to take a piece of wire and fish it in here so we can get the wire through the back of that plug, because there's not a lot of room to work with. Alright, so now that we got that fished out, we'll depin the plug. Just push those tabs in. Pull the wire off, and using electrical tape, we'll secure it to the wire. Now that we got our wire situated, we will put the back cap back on. Alright, so if your vehicle's not equipped with the puddle lights and the cameras, then we'll use these plates to fill the gaps. So you just work this corner one in first, and then get your bottom one in. So now that we got it together, we'll use our hands, clamp it together, flip it over, and put our Torx screws back in. Alright, now that those are tight, we will put our mirror back on. Just like that. And last but not least, our trim piece. Alright, so now we got our mirror back on, our trim piece back on. Our last steps are going to be to replace this seal and put our foam seal back on. So to get this back in, you just push on it and feel it go into place. nice and tight. We'll take our wire, run it through the bottom of this plug hole, and reinstall our foam. All right, so now before we put this back on the door, we want to reinsert our JST connector. So you just want to pull up on those tabs so they're locked back in, and insert it. Put those tabs up into the window, just like that. All right, now we're ready to put the mirror back on. All right, so first things first, we'll want to run our wire in, and we're going to go through this big round hole, push it through, reach over, grab our slack out. All right, now that we got the slack out, this piece goes in first. You rock it in and up. And then that's what's actually holding it on until we get our bolts in. All right, so now that our wire's through the door, our mirror is mounted, we will go ahead and re-secure all the fasteners. All right, so from here, we'll plug our plug in, and we'll throw the wire back over the door, get all the slack out of it, and we'll put our trim piece back on. Boom, just like that. And now we'll run our wire into the engine bay. So to do that, there's a little gap in the upper quarter panel that leads right into the engine bay. And we're going to follow that gap. All right, so now that we've got our wire in this upper fender portion, let's go ahead and reach our hand in there, feel for the wire, and pull it through, just like that. All right, so this vehicle is not equipped with the puddle light and camera option, but if your vehicle is, you can definitely refer to the written instructions and tap into the power and ground on the circuit that is within the side mirror itself. If your vehicle is equipped with upfitter or auxiliary switches, you can definitely tap into those for power. So if your vehicle has neither of these options, we do offer this off-road harness, and the link is in the description below. It has a switch, a relay, power and ground for the relay, and 2 outputs. And that's how you would get power and ground to your lights. All right, so I got my power and ground hooked up to the battery that feeds my relay. Switch is in the cab, and my outputs are ran, 1 to each side, and I'm going to go ahead and hook them up and give it a test. We took our switch and came in through the firewall and up behind the knee bolster, between the knee bolster and the steering wheel itself, and mounted it to the knee bolster.